Hey riders, I'm CycleSphere. Ever seen a motorcycle that looks like a total game changer, but somehow flops in the showroom? Today, we're diving into the truth about new motorcycles that never sell. Buckle up, because some of these stories are wild. Wait until you hear about a bike that literally bankrupted its maker. So, what makes a shiny new motorcycle gather dust instead of tearing up the roads? It's not just one thing. It could be a dodgy engine, a price tag that makes your eyes water, or a design that just doesn't click with riders. I've spent years reviewing bikes, digging into sales data, and talking to riders to figure out why some models crash and burn. In this video, we'll look at bikes like the infamous Bimota V2 and others to uncover the reasons behind their failure. I've pored over industry reports and rider feedback to give you the full scoop. Let's roll. Alright, let's start with looks. A bike's design can be a deal breaker. Take the Bimota V2 from 1997. This Italian beauty had a sleek, sporty vibe with carbon fiber bits and a minimalist frame designed by Sergio Robbiano. It screamed high-end, with color options like a striking red, white, and black combo. But here's the kicker. Some parts, like the mirrors and indicators, look like they were borrowed from a budget scooter. For a bike costing £14,500, about $20,000 back then, that's a letdown. Riders expect every detail to match the premium price. Then there's the Harley-Davidson V-Rod. Launched in 2001, it went for a futuristic, muscular look that was a big departure from Harley's classic cruisers. While it pulled in some new fans, a lot of die-hard Harley riders weren't feeling it. They wanted that traditional chrome and leather vibe. It's a classic case of a brand taking a bold swing and missing part of their core audience. Stick around, because we're going to talk about what happens when a bike's engine betrays its looks. Now, let's get to the heart of the matter, the engine. The Bimota V2 is the poster child for performance gone wrong. On paper, it was a beast. A 499 cubic centimeter two-stroke V-twin pumping out 105 horsepower at 9,000 revolutions per minute, with a wet weight of just 377 pounds. That's a power-to-weight ratio that could rival 600 cubic centimeter four-strokes of the time. The big selling point? A direct fuel injection system that promised clean emissions and GP-level performance. Sounds awesome, right? Well, here's where it falls apart. The fuel injection was a disaster. Riders reported the bike jerking, stalling, or losing power mid-ride. One reviewer said it felt like riding a bucking bronco with a mind of its own. I remember reading about a test ride at Willow Springs where a journalist thought the V2 was out of gas after one lap. Turns out, the tank was full, but the engine was just that bad. It was heartbreaking. Bimota spent a decade developing this bike, hyping it as the savior of two-strokes, but it couldn't deliver. Compare that to something like the Aprilia RSV Mill, which had early engine stalling issues, but got fixed in later models, and you see how critical reliability is. Okay, let's talk about how these bikes feel on the road. Handling and comfort can make or break a motorcycle's appeal. The Triumph Rocket 3 is a great example here. This beast has a 2.3-liter engine. Yep, you heard that right, churning out massive torque. But at over 800 pounds, it's like wrestling a bear. In city traffic or tight corners, it's a handful, especially on slick roads where its weight makes stopping a challenge. I once saw a guy at a bike meet struggling to park his Rocket 3. He looked like he was directing a semi-truck. It's perfect for straight-line cruising, but for most riders, it's just too much. Contrast that with the Bimota V2. Despite its engine woes, its handling was a high point. The lightweight aluminum frame and top-notch Paoli suspension made it a dream in corners when the engine cooperated. The riding position was aggressive, typical for a sport bike. So it wasn't built for long rides. It shone on twisty mountain roads, but struggled in stop-and-go traffic. You won't believe what happened when Bimota tried to fix their tech issues. More on that later. In today's world, tech is a big selling point. Riders love features like traction control, ABS, and slick digital displays. Back in '97, the V2 was cutting edge with its direct fuel injection, but that's where the innovation stopped. It had no rider aids, no fancy electronics, and a basic dashboard with just a couple of warning lights. For a premium bike, that felt outdated even then. Compare it to modern bikes with TFT screens and Bluetooth connectivity, and it's no wonder buyers looked elsewhere. Other bikes have stumbled here too. Early traction control systems on some models were so intrusive they ruined the ride, turning off performance enthusiasts. The Kawasaki Z250, for example, lacked the advanced features of its rival, the KTM Duke 390, which offered ABS and a digital display at a lower price. Tech can be a double-edged sword. If it's not done right, it's a deal breaker. Let's get practical. Owning a bike shouldn't feel like a second job. The V-Do was a maintenance nightmare. As a two-stroke, it needed frequent oil changes and spark plug swaps. Plus, Bimota's small production meant parts were hard to find, especially after the company went bankrupt. Fuel efficiency. Don't expect much from a high-revving two-stroke. And storage? Forget it. This bike was built for speed, not grocery runs. Other bikes face similar issues. The Mahindra Mojo, an adventure tourer, had a lot going for it, like a 21-liter tank for long ranges. But its maintenance costs and lack of brand recognition in the two-wheeler market hurt its appeal. Electric bikes, too, can scare buyers with high battery replacement costs and spotty charging networks. Practicality matters, folks. Wait until we compare these bikes to their rivals. It's eye-opening. So, how do these bikes stack up against the competition? The Kawasaki Z250 is a great case study. Launched in 2014 at 299,000 Indian rupees, it was pitted against the KTM Duke 390. The Duke had more power, 44 horsepower versus the Z250's 32, and came with better features like ABS, all for a lower price. No wonder Kawasaki sold just 120 units in the first year. The Z250's twin-cylinder engine was smooth, but it couldn't match the Duke's bang for the buck. Similarly, the Suzuki GSX 250 are struggled against the Honda CB, R250R, and Yamaha YZF-R3. Those bikes offered sharper performance and stronger brand loyalty, leaving the GSX 250R in the dust. The V-Do faced off against 600 cubic centimeter four-strokes like the Honda CB R600F, which were smoother, more reliable, and half the price. It's tough to compete when your rivals have it all figured out. Value is where it all comes together. The Mahindra Mojo packed features like Pirelli tires and USD forks, but at a price close to established brands like Bajaj or Yamaha, it couldn't compete. Buyers trust known names over newcomers, especially when the price difference is small. The V-Do was even worse. 14,500 pounds for a bike that didn't work right was a tough sell when you could get a CB R600F for $9,000. Even the Rocket 3, with its unique engine, felt overpriced for its limited usability. Value isn't just about specs, it's about what you get for your money. So, what's the truth about new motorcycles that never sell? It boils down to a few key things: technical reliability, smart pricing, appealing design, and meeting rider expectations. The Bimota V-Do failed because its innovative engine didn't work. The Kawasaki Z250 and Mahindra Mojo were priced out of their leagues. The Triumph Rocket 3 was too niche. These stories remind us that even the coolest bikes need to deliver in the real world. For riders, look beyond the hype. Check reviews, test ride, and think about long-term costs. For manufacturers, listen to your customers and nail the basics. If you loved this deep dive, hit that subscribe button for more CycleSphere content. Drop a comment. Have you ridden any of these bikes? Or know one that flopped? In reviewing bikes for over 15 years, so I've seen a lot of ups and downs in this business. Let's start with a surprising fact. In Bangladesh, motorcycle sales actually hit a 6-year low in 2024, dropping by 2% compared to the previous year. That might not sound like much, but it's worse than the decline they saw during the pandemic. Prices went up a lot because of inflation and a shortage of US dollars, which made buying a bike harder for many people. This isn't just happening there. In North America and other markets, motorcycles are often seen as luxury or recreational items, so when money gets tight, people hold off on buying. I've put over 10,000 miles on various bikes in all sorts of conditions, so I know how different factors affect riding and ownership. One thing I've noticed is that while the overall market shrinks, the premium motorcycle segment is actually growing. In Bangladesh, for example, high-end bikes from brands like Suzuki and Yamaha have seen sales increase by 8 and 11% respectively. That's because wealthier buyers aren't as affected by economic troubles and still want top-quality machines. On the other hand, brands that focus on affordable, fuel-efficient motorcycles are also doing well. Hero Motorcycles grew by 19% last year by targeting budget-conscious riders. It really shows that understanding your audience is key. If a manufacturer tries to sell expensive bikes to people who want cheap rides, or vice versa, those bikes just sit on the showroom floor. Social media also plays a role in why some bikes don't sell. There's a lot of negative content out there about motorcycling, videos of crashes, reckless riding, and even some unfair stereotypes. This can scare off new riders or make people think twice before buying. Plus, when someone says they want a motorcycle, they might get judgmental comments from friends or strangers online. That's a real barrier that's harder to measure, but definitely affects sales. Despite all this, motorcycles still mean a lot to riders. I've talked to people who have bikes they'll never sell because of the memories and experiences attached to them. One rider told me about their 2018 Yamaha MT-09, saying they ride it every day and never get bored. Another has a 1990 BMW R100 GS with 140,000 miles on it, and they said they'd ride it to their funeral. That kind of emotional connection is powerful, and it explains why some used bikes stay on the market for a long time without selling. Now, here's something interesting. Have you ever heard of showroom queens? These are bikes bought new but barely ridden before being put back up for sale. I once saw a 15-year-old Harley-Davidson Road King with less than 1,000 original miles. It's crazy. Often, people buy bikes with the best intentions, but life gets in the way. Work, family, health, or just realizing the bike isn't what they expected. Some buy motorcycles as collectibles or status symbols and don't actually ride them much. Reliability is another factor that affects sales. Modern motorcycles are generally more reliable than older models, but there are still differences. For example, one rider's 2008 Harley-Davidson Sportster made it to nearly 70,000 miles with only minor issues like a bad stator and a clutch pack replacement. Another rider's 2013 Triumph Daytona 675 reached 30,000 miles with just a small fix to the exhaust butterfly valve. Bikes known for mechanical problems often sit unsold or need big discounts to move, while those with solid reputations hold their value better. The industry itself has struggled to adapt. Many manufacturers and dealers expanded during the pandemic boom, expecting the good times to continue. When the market cooled off, they were caught off guard. Now, with tighter budgets and fewer buyers, companies have to cut costs, but also invest in new ideas to attract riders. It's a tricky balance. Dealerships also play a big role. Today's buyers come in well-informed and expect knowledgeable staff who can answer detailed questions. Unfortunately, many dealers don't invest enough in training their salespeople or technicians. Modern bikes are complex machines with advanced electronics and require skilled mechanics. Without that, customers might get frustrated and walk away. Looking ahead, there are some bright spots. Electric motorcycles are gaining popularity, especially in cities where their limited range isn't a big problem. Adventure touring bikes are also doing well because they offer versatility and a sense of exploration that appeals to many riders. These segments might help the market bounce back. Manufacturers are trying new strategies, like focusing on real rider needs instead of just adding flashy features. Safety systems that don't take away from the riding experience are becoming more common. Brands are also offering smaller, more affordable models to bring in new riders. Building communities through events and social media helps too, creating loyal fans who feel connected beyond just the bike itself. In the end, the motorcycles that will sell are the ones that offer real value, connect emotionally with riders, and meet the changing demands of the market. It's not just about horsepower or price tags. It's about the experience and identity that come with owning a bike. So, if you're thinking about buying a new motorcycle, remember that the market is complex right now. Do your research, think about what you really want, and don't be afraid to ask questions. And if you already own a bike you love, Hold on to it. It might be worth more than you think. Thanks for riding along with me today. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment with your own experiences, and check out the links in the description for more info. Until next time, keep the rubber side down